Hello, Mary, everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. Welcome to Ask Us Anything, Volume 4. Sorry it's a little late. I had to use my phone to tether into the Power Max 5 up at the apartment to get it updated with its software. And then one of the questions comes up involves the upstairs. So we're going to talk about that. This comes from the group in Albania. They came up with a couple of questions here. Do you have any 2030 mini ice age prepping advice? What do you think are good supplies to stack up on? Well, from where I've been told you guys live, the first thing you're going to want to definitely stack up on is very warm clothing. Okay? You know, if you take the coldest winter and figure that the mini ice age could potentially be 2 to 4 times colder temperatures than what you're used to. So obviously heavy leggings, heavy woolen socks, heavy winter boots, heavy gloves. Some say mittens are better. Whatever you choose, you want to prepare as if you're going to Siberia. And that's exactly what it's probably going to be like for you. It's going to be like going to Siberia. So please, if you can, do some research in Siberia, in Russia, and so that you can be at least aware of the conditions of that area of the world. And the other thing I can tell you right now is that because you are in the middle of a very mountainous region, you're going to definitely want to make sure that you have your vehicles, your cars, your trucks, always have a full tank of gasoline in the tank, or diesel, whichever one it uses, or propane, or natural gas, whatever fuel it uses. Make sure you have a full tank of that, and carry an extra gas can with more fuel in it as well. So which make sure to rotate between fresh gas and what's in your tank so it doesn't go bad on you. For home, you're going to want to make sure you have a backup heating system. You're going to make sure you have a plentiful supply of wood. Do not expect that municipal power, such as electricity, natural gas, deliverable fuels like propane, are going to be available. You must need to prepare for potentially long-term delays between supplies. You don't know when they're going to be done plowing the roads or shoveling the roads, whichever way you do it in your country. Make sure that you are aware that you may be stuck for weeks at a time without power, because the snow, heavy trees could cause them to fall off the power lines and knock them out. And obviously, common sense says if you see a down power line, do not touch it, because it may be active and kill you. So that's one thing. Obviously, you need to know how to use whatever alternative fuel you're going to use. Maybe wood, coal, coke, natural gas. It's not recommended. Propane, which is also not recommended. Whatever fuel you choose, make sure you know how to properly use your appliances safely. Food is going to be an issue. You're going to definitely need to realize that if you go back at the year 1812, the year without a summer, just to give you an idea how bad it got. Of course, back then they didn't have trucks and things like that. There was always kind of a food shortage. The crops couldn't grow in the fields. They didn't even germinate. They didn't grow. People, and the same thing happened in the mini ice age in Europe, as well as many people starved to death from about 1500s to 1600s. Really kind of occurred in part all the way up to about early 1800s. So you're going to definitely want to make sure you have at least a couple months of food on hand. The advantage is, of course, nowadays we have greenhouses. It would be possible to grow some foods in your greenhouse, but greenhouses are going to definitely need heat. There's no guarantee that you're going to get the kind of sunlight naturally to keep your crops growing. Also, make sure to keep your chimney clean on your roof, so you don't have any buildup of creosote, especially if you're using wood, because that can start a chimney fire, which could be destructive. Since you got about 15 years on that here right now, this would be a good time to plan ahead for possibly months without the things that you take for granted. So plan for the fact that you may not be able to get to downtown to buy everyday needs, stock up on things like you need. Also have a first aid kit to have somebody who knows how to use that first aid kit. Since it's going to be colder, it's not going to be a heat wave. If you do lose power, you can always keep your food outside refrigerated, especially if the temperature is about 5 degrees Celsius or lower. If it gets down to like minus 27, that's great for freezing things, but if you want to have refrigerated food like milk and dairy products that you want to drink right away, when the temperatures get below, say about 40 degrees, about 5 degrees Celsius, you're going to want to definitely maybe put those things in a cooler, but not to cool, but rather to warm it, to keep it from getting too cold. So definitely stock up on food, definitely stock up on fuel, definitely stock up on ammunition, especially for the bears. You mentioned also, I will discuss the bears briefly. It's not exactly a question, it is here a question. We're talking about the number 5. It says, you'll help me read your original question. I've got 5 questions to ask. Me video said I'm sort of repaired that the bear activity in our area has been increasing, which is making life more difficult. We have lost a few members due to the increased aggregation, including Rovina was one of them. Let's talk about bears. You've got to run into that. Make sure you're aware that whatever the policies are in your country, you're going to probably need to have firearms for protection. You cannot expect that the local animal control people are going to be able to help you maintain the population of the bears. If you need to hunt, bear meat is, I don't know how bear meat tastes. You can use the bear skins to keep warm, so somebody who knows how to tan leather, maybe keep the fur on the leather. That's what a tanner does. I can tell you right now that the best kind of tanning would be vegetable tanning, but may not be able to use that because of time. You might want to use chromium tanning. I can tell you that much. I don't remember all the details. It's a long time since I learned about leather tanning. But again, if you're going to hunt bears, you need a firearm, you need a gun, or you need to know how to use said firearms. And you need proper licensing and authorization from your local authorities, because that can become very, very dicey legally. So make sure to get the proper paperwork in order before anybody goes hunting for bear. Next question is officially, in America, what are some of the top sock brands? We need to order some, and we are going to use eBay, but we're unfamiliar with good quality brands. I use socks from Hanes, Herway, or they also have, of course, men's socks as well. Hanes has men's socks. That's spelled Hanes. Another one is called Fruit of the Loom. That's Fruit of, that's OF, the THE, Loom, LOOM. They have a variety of both men and women's undergarments and some outerwear. Hanes does too. But since we're talking about preparing for a mini ice age, you might as well plan on getting the heaviest stuff you can and get lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of socks and underwears and bras because you're going to need them. Because if you get wet, that only makes it easy to get hypothermia. So you definitely want to stay warm and stay dry and bundle up in layers, very much like you would normally do if you're in winter, but realize we're talking about temperatures for you, it'll probably be like Siberia, so you're definitely going to want to talk to your Russian Siberian friends and ask them for advice, because the temperatures over there may very well be almost as cold as the Arctic, above the Arctic Circle. So you definitely want to prepare for that reason, because you don't know how cold it's going to be. You got to plan ahead accordingly. The next question is, we want to put a big lock on our gate for when it is night to prevent more takings from the bears. We googled some locks and Master Lock brand came up. Do you think this is a good brand? Let us know. Master Lock has some pretty heavy duty locks. Since you have a gated community, the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is, since everybody's going to need a key, is that you got to make sure it's a master lock that uses a standard key that can be copied. You don't want to choose a lock that uses a special key that cannot be duplicated easily, because then obviously that would mean that if somebody loses the key, they're going to be locked out and the bears are going to get checked. Let me talk briefly about bears, because I do know something about polar bears from watching shows on Alaska. It probably might be a good warning here for you. Bears are not good lock pickers. Okay, they don't have a lock picking tool set. What they do got is a lot of force and power in those paws, and that means that your lock has to be designed to deal with some very, very strong smashing. And in addition to that, if we're talking about the same lock to be used even into the mini ice age, it's got to be able to work when it's frozen, because obviously you've got to be able to get back in. And then, of course, during 2030 mini ice age, you also might have to start dealing with marauders. That is, bad people that are coming in to steal your stuff. You're going to definitely want a lock that is going to be substantial, because like the bears, they'll probably use brute force to get into your area. Also, don't forget, bears can climb, so if you have, I don't know what your gates are like, but if you have any way for them to climb it, you're going to definitely need to have somebody in the inside with firearms to protect the community from the bears once they get through your gate. And that's just a fact. And also, bears are strong enough that they can easily, they're easily 5 times stronger than a human man. So if your gate itself is not very substantial, it's not going to matter how good the lock is, because the bear is just going to destroy the door and get in. Because those claws are about 4 inches long, and they will, and they can rip through wood. Not maybe all at one time, but with those claws, they can go some pretty big holes in it, and you're gonna eventually they're gonna break through if the wooden doors. You need to consider making sure that your door is fortified. Also for 2030, as I said with the marauders, they may decide to do something very similar to the bears, trying to smash the door down, either with a battering ram or maybe even a truck. So if you're going to prepare for bears, you might as well prepare for the human version too, because, you know, they're just as cunning, sneaky, and of course even more unspeakably nasty. But Master Lock, I would say, is okay. Just make sure that it's going to be strong enough to take to some serious punishment, and make sure it has a key that can easily be copied for your members of your community. Or if you're going to have a gate person that decides to get sentry with a firearm, you know, for bear attack, whatever, then maybe you don't so much need to have give a key to everybody, but then that means that there has to be somebody at their post to let them in to the gateway. Let's see, number 4, we have heard rumors soon in the nearest town that they will have the McDonald's place food. How do you rate their selection, and what would you recommend? When they send a few members to town to sell and exchange on market, they could pick up some and bring back, so we want to know what to order. I don't know, usually the McDonald's tries to provide a menu fare that's appropriate for the community you're in. I don't know anything about every single entree on their main menu here in the United States. I'm allergic to mayonnaise, and so certain foods I do not eat. I can tell you the ones I have eaten, but please understand, McDonald's is fast food. It's not really necessarily good food. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's, you get what you get, you know. Here in the United States, the McDonald's hamburgers are pretty decent. The cheeseburgers are pretty decent. However, I noticed that they don't really have, at least not in the United States, they do not have any hot vegetables and fresh fruit on the menu. So if the only thing you might see in vegetables are salads, which is fine if you like salads. If you don't, well, then you just take a chance at it. But here in the United States, the typical entrees are usually mostly hamburgers and cheeseburgers, and of course we have their coffee line, and they have their chicken nuggets, and they have the fish fillets, and they have their breakfasts. I like the egg and cheese and sausage egg McMuffin, but some people like the hotcakes. I don't know what really to recommend, because I would have to see what your local McDonald's is going to have. So you might want to check the McDonald's website. But from what I know about the food, it's okay. I wouldn't want to eat McDonald's 7 days a week, if that's what you mean. I mean, once in a great while, it's okay. But it's very, it's fast food. It's got a lot of sugar in it. It's a lot of salt, a lot of grease. So, you just do with what you got. If you want to try it, that's fine. That's all I can really suggest with McDonald's. And of course, the last question. Are you still on the floor of the Yellow House, or have you moved yet to your better accommodations? We want to know if you soon be in a better, happy place. My apartment is almost done. Technically, my apartment is done, except for a few small things. Basically, when they painted the apartment, it was just like temporarily moving out. I had to put all the stuff in like storage. Now I had to get all the stuff out of storage. Now I had to put everything back in. With the kitchen floor, my landlord did not replace that yet. He did not replace the bathroom floor either. Nor did he paint the bathroom. The bathroom really didn't need paint. It just, it does need to have the tiles fixed. I'm doing the tile fixing. Granted, the way I'm fixing it is not really probably the most best way. I am using very small, about 2 centimeter long tacks, fitting in very small wire brads, and I'm tacking down the tiles that came loose, and tacking down the ones that are peeling, and then to at least make it look presentable. And then, so I will be hopefully back in my apartment by August of this year. Yeah, I'm still sleeping on the floor. Yeah, my legs still sometimes hurts, but not as bad now. I guess I've gotten kind of used to it. The cats are doing good. In fact, they're here too. And I'm sorry to hear about the lady Rovina. I don't know who you're gonna have for a local baker. Speaking of another 2030 thing, I might as well bring this up now. Depending on what kind of skill sets all of you people have, as I said, you might very well be isolated from the rest of the world for weeks. So if you have people who have different trades, basket weavers, farmers, you're going to need milk. You're going to have beef or chicken, or goats. You can throw goats are your local animal. Yeah, you're definitely going to want to have farmers and shepherds and iron workers, blacksmiths, and you may not even be able to depend on your cars. So someone who raises horses may be a good choice, especially for that terrain. Make sure that people who learn how to ride the horses, or even ride other animals that are good for hilly areas. I don't know what other animal would be good. Horses are usually pretty good, but maybe you might want to consider other animals for its backup. And also, of course, you're going to want to have carpenters and medical people who know how to do medical care. Like I said, you should have a first aid kit on hand at all times, because people will get hurt. Then if the nearest town is like 20 miles away, even by helicopter, you're still gonna have to deal with emergency things like burns, bleeding, broken bones is a very possibility. People could slip on ice. You're gonna want to make sure to prepare for that. So if you have skills in the community in different fields, this would be a great idea to prepare and study and learn how to handle this. Now, I live in the suburbs. I've kind of got lucky. I've got most everything I need within town here. But, my town could still find ourselves on a shortage of food and resources because of the issue of the things at hand. So, yeah, you're definitely going to want to prepare for that. Now, let's see, that was the last of the official questions here. Do you got any? Me? Yeah, you. Yeah, I think this is a question they didn't ask, but I think we should ask it. Do you think that when we move back into our apartments, that we'll be having the phones transferred right away back to the apartment, or do you think that's going to happen to take a little longer? That I don't know yet. I hope we can get the phones and stuff transferred over in a timely period. But we really don't know how long it's going to take. Okay, so in other words, we don't know how long it's going to take before we get all the phones and internet back over there. If it wasn't for the fact that T-Mobile has tethering, it would be very difficult to do videos. But if I didn't have access to internet, since I do have the T-Mobile and I can plug it into the computer over there and still access the internet, I can still do videos that way. So it's really less of an issue than if I had no tethering at all on that package. But you were thinking about not having tethering in August. You were thinking about trying to save money. Right, but we'll have to work on it. Yeah, okay, we'll work on it. And so I want to thank you guys for these questions. And again, I want to remind everybody, please do not be afraid to ask questions. I will do my best to answer them in a timely manner, and just send them to me either on YouTube or Google Plus. On Google Plus, it's plus MicheleMarieDalene, and if you can mail to me, it's BICHELA3@gmail.com, or of course on YouTube, and I will get them their way too. That's about it, guys, for now. But I'm sorry this was a little late. I got stuck out the house trying to put, as I said, trying to put the studio back together. I haven't quite got it all put together yet. I still have to put the lights back up. I still have to plug in the camera. I still have to check all the sound equipment and everything. I'm still got to connect the speakers to my stereo, so at least I can listen to some music. I'll get all that stuff done within the next few, maybe by the next week, because the porch probably will be done, as I said, by early August. So there's a lot of reasons why my landlord's trying to get the thing done. They got the concrete footings in. Now they got to put the build-out supports itself onto the concrete footings. And I think that's going to go pretty quick. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys for the questions. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.